All right, man. What's up, y'all? We're back with another. This is actually the first recap video I'm doing like for the month. So this is the month of January, man. And I'd say like there's a few like main things that I learned this month that I feel like is gonna be very like detrimental. Like it's gonna help you a lot. It's gonna help me a lot, like in the future. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first thing that I learned is that like monitoring your errors and like the mistakes that you make is like huge. That is huge because that's what I was doing. And I was making a lot of mistakes like the first couple weeks. Even my first trade, I remember like I didn't follow my stop loss rule, and then the trade ended up winning, and I was like, oh my goodness, like that was irritating. But I ended up fixing that, and since then I started taking like better trades and just following my stop loss rule. So that is one thing. And like I was making mistakes like the first couple weeks, but this past week that I've traded, you guys are probably, I don't know if you've seen the recap video or not, but that video I had like no mistakes, no errors. And I actually felt really good about that. So that was solid. But we just got to keep that up. And another thing about like the mistakes that you make, it can also be because like you're risking too much. You may be risking too much. Let me fix that glare. I don't know. It's like a little glare. All right, but yeah, you may be risking too much. So you have to really recognize like, okay, maybe I am risking too much. Like you may accept the risk, but at the same time, that can also play a part in your mental. So keep that in mind. And that is really important when it comes to just making sure that you are confident when you are taking these trades and you're taking the right setups. Like your risk is very important. So I took my risk down and I started making better trades, like higher quality trades. Like there was definitely like some mistakes in the beginning, and it's only been 1 week of me like not making any errors and stuff. But I think over time, like if I can see myself do this for like a couple months, or like have a certain amount of excuse me, like have a certain amount of trades where I'm consistently doing that, like consistently following my plan and taking a solid setup and stuff like that, um, I will up my risk. So that is something that I learned. So I lowered my risk, and I feel like I am making better decisions now. Um, Also, you got to accept responsibility for your mistakes. Like there's one thing to know that you're making the mistake, but then it's another thing to like fix it and like accept that you did it, and knowing like, okay, this isn't the market. Like the market didn't do this to me. I did this. Like I made this mistake. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to accept responsibility for that. I would say when you make these mistakes, like try and catch yourself in the act. Like try and catch yourself. Like, all right, say you're about to make a mistake. Like try and catch yourself in that mindset. Like, oh, I'm about to make this mistake. Because I did that this week. Like I was about to take I was taking a setup, and like in the middle of the setup, like news is in like a few minutes. And in the last setup, news was also in a few minutes. And I ended up closing right before news and got out at break even. But then it ended up plummeting. Like the trade went so crazy. And I was like, dang, maybe this time it would be like the same thing. And I was like, nah, that's not part of the plan. Like the plan is to just, you know, not trade news because that's gambling. So if you do that consistently, keep doing that. Don't have these random things just because this happened last time doesn't mean it'll happen this time. And I decided to get out right before news, and then it ended up losing. So that is why news is gambling. And I ended up catching myself like about to make that mistake, and then I just didn't make it. So that was very good. Another thing is like having your mind right. It like goes hand in hand with executing your strategy correctly. And part of like having your mind right is like making these mistakes and fixing them up, because that is what builds more confidence. And I've definitely had more confidence built just because I fixed my mistakes. So that was really good. And you have to make sure that like, there may be things in your external life like outside of trading. there may be things outside of trading that's making you feel like, I may not be focused in the markets. And that was me this week. So I only traded 2 days this week. Like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I didn't trade. Friday, I would have traded, but it was NFP day. Like, it was honestly solid though today. I'll have to show y'all the setup. I gotta show y'all. I gotta show y'all real quick. Like, for real, it was so fire. Wait. One sec. Okay. Make sure y'all can see this. Man, this GJ setup, bro. Look at that. Just so perfect. Great break of structure, like NFP. Oh my goodness, that was so good, man. That was so good. All right, had to show y'all that, man. But yeah, having your mind right, it goes hand in hand for real. So make sure that like you're meditating and whatever you may do, like to have your mind right, like praying or, you may be talking to like family or friends or, whatever you do that helps you get your mind right. Whether that is like not being on your phone, you wake up or something like that, man. You get the point. Um, and then another thing, which is the last thing that I learned this month, is that you have to keep trading simple. Well, at least for me, I learned that I have to keep trading simple and not overcomplicate it. And that's just because there's so many things that you can put into a factor when you're about to make a trade. But if you just keep it simple and you're like, okay, I know what a good setup looks like, I know what a bad setup looks like. I mean, you just keep it simple. Like, like with your strategy, like just have a certain set of rules. Like, okay, for this strategy that Doyle taught is really just like break a structure, the EMA is under or above, like depending on like if it's like a supply setup or demand setup, and then like higher time frame stuff like that. Like you don't want to make it too complicated. That's like a thing that I had. That's a issue that I had, like back then. Like before I made this channel, I had the issue with just having a whole bunch of confluences like RSI. Like I had a whole bunch of EMAs on. There's a whole bunch of other random stuff that I had. Like I tried like Bollinger Bands. Like I was just literally adding everything, bro. Just thinking like, oh, this gonna be the key, but it wasn't. And that may be the key for someone else, but for me, this strategy by far is just like something simple and it's effective and it's precise. So I'm glad that I found this strategy and I'm glad that I'm really learning it because like once you keep things simple, um, your mind is honestly going to be more clear. Like it can go with like the second thing that I just said, like having your mind right goes hand in hand. Like you're not going to be overthinking too much stuff because you know what you're looking for. Keep it simple and just keep it pushing, like literally. And another thing, I'm gonna go back. I'm bouncing back between like having your mind right. I recommend reading Trading in the Zone because there's this thing in there. It's like the 5 fundamental truths, and I look at that a lot. And one of them is like anything can happen. And I think I made a video on like probability and stuff, and like having your mind in harmony with probability. So that is something that's really good to look forward to. Like I recommend that book for real. Um, and yeah, that is honestly it. And this month, I feel pretty confident now. Like I feel more confident than I did in the beginning. Like I came into the year being like, "Ooh, I can't wait to like take these setups." Because like when you're not trading for a while, and then you end up like seeing stuff like after the market is like doing what it did, but like in real time, it's way different. So I'm feeling like I'm way better in real time. And I'm in like that mechanical stage. If you read Trading in the Zone, I'm in that mechanical stage where I'm really just trying to take these trades and like take my edge and not like have anything else like affecting it and just seeing what happens. So that is where I'm at right now. And I think in the long term, I'll be able to get to another stage where I'm really just like in a flow with the market and I'm just like waking up, I know what I'm doing and stuff like that. It's like I feel like I know what I'm doing, but I have to do it consistently. So like once you do this stuff consistently, you'll be good. And yeah, it was really just the first month of the year. And it was not the best month. Like the month had a lot of fake outs. Like I felt like I was taking good setups to start the year, and then I took a couple bad ones, and like there was a lot of losers, but I ended the month strong, and we're looking to start February strong and just have another good month. I think this month was honestly good. Now I think about it, because I made these errors and I fixed them up. So it's one thing to make the errors and not fix them up, but I fixed them up, and I just have to consistently do that. So we'll be back next month, and yeah, that's it, y'all. So I appreciate you for watching. I hope you learned something. And this is a long journey, man. Trading is really a journey of like self-development, like for real. Like you learn a lot about yourself. And one thing I learned about myself is that I'm very resilient. Like I definitely want to like make this work, and I feel like I can make it work. Like I've seen others make it work, so like I feel like I can do the same. So yeah, that is my recap for the month, and I will see y'all in the next trading recap video, honestly. Peace.